Hey guys, and welcome back to It Moves. We're going to take over where we left off with our old file. And I must confess to several playthroughs, but I did keep my word. The problem is, I am not very good with mazes. I'm going to mosey through the first time, but as you can see, all is not well. You can shift to run. Shift to run, boy. Lad. Wee child. I did try spacebar to jump, but it does not seem to work. I like the effects in here. They're absolutely gorgeous. And it's a very sinister feeling that if you don't keep going, something dreadful is going to happen to you. So well done on the developers' part. And here we go. We are going to be entering a labyrinth, and what you have to do here, what the mechanism to do here, is to find a variety of switches. And you are going to be using your arrow keys. Now, you will forgive me, I do have to do a wee bit of wandering. And you have to spacebar to activate the switch. And a nice thing in this game is, unlike the puzzles, they don't punish you for hitting a switch again. So if you have hit a switch and you just forget if you hit it or not, you can't go backwards and undo your progress. So that is one good thing. Now, when I first gave this a playthrough, I wasn't quite sure. And here I'll just show you. See, those are quite solid. You can't walk through them. Unfortunately, can't hop over them. And what you want to do is go through and find all your switches. But as you progress and find more switches, you will find that the inhabitants of this world are not fond of you. Oh, you see him? He's quite mysterious and not fond of you. And you see these white tiles are what had your spikes on. So you know where your spikes were, in case you wouldn't quite be sure. And as you get used to the level, it becomes easier to find out where they were. It's easy to double back on yourself, but it's quite alright. And it's an enjoyable level. I like that the music is very minimalistic here. I like the idea that you're in a factory setting. It's pretty unique because you wouldn't be sure how many young children would think of a factory setting. Unless, of course, he grew up in a factory area. No, I don't want you to feel bad if you play this and it takes you longer to get through the maze area than it took me, because I've already given this several playthroughs in films to speed this up a little for us. The first time I got hopelessly lost because I wasn't quite sure what we were supposed to be doing. Uh-oh. I don't like this one. You spook me. Please go away. And as you can see, there's now a head on the floor. I'm gonna make sure there's no way to go up, okay? Yes, there is a head on the floor now. So this does add to the horror element quite nicely as you go along on this level. And I do enjoy this game loads. Let's see if I can get through here. Not yet. Flip this switch. And I like this animation. Now this pink goop, I'm not even gonna think of the origins of it, starts to come out through here. And excuse me. Okay, that was what we got. See if this way is open yet. Okay. And if I get silent at times in these games, I'm just concentrating. I'm not ignoring you by any means if you are a new viewer and don't know that I do that at times. That is one we already got, so let's go down this way. Come here, young lad. Aha, uh-oh. The Screaming Brain. Sounds like a sci-fi movie to cuddle up and watch. Okay. He is right there. Can we interact with him, I wonder? Okay. Let's remember this. It was the brain room, and we go right down, because I will confess, my dears, that is where I got lost from that point on in my last brain room, and go right down. Okay. That is where I got lost from in my last trek. And I had gone on quite a bit. And I don't like to keep you over long. And for people who are just joining us on our trek and just joining this station channel, we can tell my age when I say station. I sound calm because this is the mic that I could afford. And if I get as excited as I actually am to be playing this game, I will blow out this mic. And if you have heard recordings where I get excited, I know it has to be painful on your ears. And bless the people that have subscribed, and I mean that because I know it has to hurt your ears, and no one has ever said anything to me. If I did the reactions I wanted to, I would be screaming all the time, but I try to keep calm and not scream for your benefit. As the channel grows, I will invest in more equipment. That's actually what I intend to do. I intend to put the majority back into the channel. I want to have better mic, and I want to have better equipment as time goes on, better recording equipment. Perhaps dip into other games for you. Though I do love the developers I'm bringing to you now, and they will remain the majority that I bring to you. I love the developers over on GameJolt. The vast majority of them have been nothing but kind to me. And, you know, they have a lot of heart, and you can see the level of love that they put into these games. Okay, here we go. I think that is where I got so lost from. Aha. We just made progress. Now where to? I don't know. Can we go up now finally? Let's see. And you can see this level has gotten progressively darker as I keep flipping switches. Okay, it wasn't that way. That's fine. Just go on back through. And again, I remain calm so I don't blow out the mic and I don't shatter your ear. Oh, what is that? I don't shatter your eardrums. I would have, for example, liked to scream my full head off, but that wouldn't have helped you. It would have helped me. It would have made me... Oh gosh. What is that, seriously? Oh my gosh. I'm trapped. I'm trapped. Some kind of altar, I know, my dear. But now I'm trapped. Between Devil 1 and Devil 2? Is this the end for our young lad? Okay, how do we get out of here? I seem to have gained the magical ability to walk it. Uh-oh. It's funny how certain words can remain hidden from your mind, no matter how blatant or obvious they are. One word came to me that night, lying there in the darkness, alone, frightened, aware of a rotten change in the atmosphere. A thickening of the air as if something had displaced it. As I heard the first casual twist of the bedsheets below. The first anxious increase of my heartbeat at the realization that something was once again in the bottom bunk, that word. A word which had sent into exile filtered up through my consciousness. Breaking free of all repression, gasping for ears, screaming, etching and carving itself into my mind. Ghost. Oh. As this thought came to me, I noticed that my unwelcome visitor had ceased moving. Then the bedsheets lay calm and dormant, but they had been replaced by something far more hideous. A slow, rhythmic, rasping breath heaved and escaped from the thing below. I could imagine its chest rising and falling with each sound, wheezing and garbled breath. Oh, each sword, my apologies. I shuddered and hoped below, beyond all hope, that it would leave without occurrence. The house lay as it had the previous night in a thick blanket of darkness. Silence prevailed, all but for the perverted breath of my as yet unseen bunkmate. I lay there terrified. I just wanted the thing to go, to leave me alone. What did it want? Then something unmistakably chilling transpired. It moved. It moved in a way different from before. When it threw itself around in the bottom bunk, it seemed unrestrained, without purpose, almost animalistic. For that thing lying there in the darkness, the thing which seemed intent on terrorizing a young boy, calmly and nonchalantly, sat up. Its labored breathing had become louder. Now only a mattress and a few flimsy wooden slats separated my body from the unearthly breath below. I lay there, my eyes filled with tears. A fear which my mere words cannot relate to you or anyone else coursed through my veins. I would not have believed that this fear could have been heightened, but I was so wrong. I imagined what this thing would look like, sitting there, listening from below my mattress, hoping to catch the slightest hint that I was awake. Imagination then turned to unnerving reality. It began to touch the wooden sledge which my mattress sat on. It seemed to caress them carefully, running what I imagined to be fingers and hands across the surface of the wood. Then, with great force, it pounded angrily between the two slats into the mattress. Even through the padding, it felt as though someone was viciously stuck their fingers into my side. I let out an almighty cry, and the wheezing, shaking, and moving thing in the bunk below replied in a kind of by violently vibrating the bunk as it had done the night before. Small flakes of paint powdered onto my blanket from the wall as the frame of the bed scraped along it, backwards and forwards. Once again I was bathed in light, and there stood my mother, loving, caring as she always was, with a comforting hug and calming words, which eventually subdued my hysteria. Of course, she asked what was wrong, but I could not say, I dared not say. I simply said one word over and over and over again. Nightmare. This pattern of events continued for weeks, if not months. Night after night, I would awaken to the sound of rustling sheets. Each time I would scream so as not to provoke the abomination, with time to prod and feel for me. With each cry, the bed would shake violently, stopping with the arrival of my mother, who would spend the rest of the night in the bottom bunk, seemingly unaware of the sinister force torturing her son nightly. Along the way, I managed to feign illness a few times to come up with other less than truthful reasons for sleeping in my parents' bed. But more often than not, I would be alone for the first few hours of each night in that place. The room where the light from outside did not sit right, alone with that thing. With time, you can become desensitized to almost anything, no matter how horrific. I had come to realize that, for whatever reason, this thing could not harm me when my mother was present. I'm sure the same thing would have been said for my father, but as loving as he was, waking him from sleep was almost impossible. Waking me, on the other hand, was no trouble at all, thanks to the nightmares. Okay. Chapter 4, Anger Overload. Okay guys, what we're gonna do is let it off there. I know we ran on longer, but this was a longer chapter. And save? Yes indeed. Save to file 1. And this has been a thoroughly enjoyable game. I will provide you again with the link below. And this is It Moves, and this is a thoroughly enjoyable game, and we were going through a child's nightmares and going through the process of going through each nightmare to unravel and defeat the nightmares and defeat the nightmare demon that is in the room. So I hope you enjoyed this Let's Play, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will give you the link below, and this is Nightcat signing out. Bye bye.